This is Renegade Femme for the Revolution. I am your host, Zuleika. The other day, I was at the gas station, and this older gentleman next to me smiled and said something so simple, but it stuck with me. And in that moment, I realized how rare it has become to experience such a genuine, unfiltered connection. It wasn't a pickup line or an awkward exchange, it was just real. It got me thinking about how we interact with each other, how we express charm, kindness, and connection in a world where it sometimes feels like those things are fading away. That short interaction really got me thinking about the magic of moments and how we can bring more of that charm and sincerity into our lives. I really vibe with the idea that connection is more than a skill, it's a choice. It's like walking into every interaction with curiosity and a willingness to see and be seen. I feel like we underestimate how much power there is in the little things, a compliment, a glance, or even a kind word to a stranger. These micro interactions can ripple into something bigger, shaping how we feel about ourselves and the world. What really stands out to me is this idea of flirting with life. It's not about being seductive in a romantic sense, but about carrying an energy of openness, playfulness, and intrigue. Life becomes more magical when you approach it like that. People, opportunities, and even ideas are more likely to find their way to you because you're radiating come closer vibes. This openness isn't about being passive or letting anything into your space. It's about being in control of your energy, deciding who or what gets your attention, and creating meaningful moments when it feels right. I can hear the groans about come closer vibes. This isn't about opening yourself up to anything or anyone. It's not an invitation for chaos. It's a signal to the right people, opportunities, and moments that you're approachable, grounded, and present. It's kind of like telling the universe, hey, I'm here, I'm ready, and I'm open to the best of what you've got. That energy creates this ripple effect. People feel it, opportunities seem to align, and life flows in a way that feels intentional. It's not about overthinking or forcing it. It's about carrying yourself in a way that says, I'm worthy of connection, of joy, of abundance. And honestly, it's contagious. When you're radiating that kind of energy, people notice it, not just because you're trying to be noticed, but because it's genuine. So whether you're at the gas station or in a meeting or just a quiet moment with yourself, lean into that magnetic, confident energy. We can call it being in conversation with life. Somewhere along the line, we've forgotten how to just be. There's so much noise about what we should or shouldn't do, how to feel, and all the rules. But honestly, what if we just paused all that and focused on rediscovering our natural energy, not forcing, not pretending, just aligning with our true selves? Whether that's embracing playfulness, being a little softer, or just being unapologetically who you are, as long as you're kind. When you're rooted in your essence, the world responds. It's not about who you should be, it's about who you are. And from there, connection feels natural, whether it's with people, ideas, or love. The idea of this episode, this conversation, really started with me reflecting on how I walk through life. I was sitting outside one morning, sipping my coffee, listening to the birds, and I started thinking about these little interactions we all have, how we exchange smiles, share a kind word, or even just acknowledging someone's presence. And I thought, wow, all these times that people think, you're being a little flirtatious by being kind. And I thought, what if it's something deeper? What if it's something more intentional? What if it's charm or finesse, like that gentleman had at the gas station? I wouldn't call myself a flirty person. I mean, let me be honest here. When I'm around someone I find attractive, my brain feels like it's shutting down. My armpits get all tingly, and I'm one awkward sentence away from wanting to crawl under the table. I'm not sophisticated or smooth at all. But then I realized maybe we're just using the wrong word. Maybe it's not being flirty or polished. Maybe it's being present, curious, and kind. I've had other moments like this, but yet, why does this feel so rare? Have we lost this as a culture? That finesse in how we communicate with each other, that charm that isn't about seduction, but really about truly seeing people. And I realize this is what I want to explore. How can we recapture that magic of connection in our daily lives? Because when we carry that energy, we're not just interacting with people, we're engaging with life itself. Let's be honest, everyone likes to feel seen. Everyone wants those little sparks of magic in their day. It's why we light up when someone gives us a genuine compliment, or when a stranger holds the door and smiles, or even when we catch a glimpse of ourselves and feel good about how we're showing up in the world. We get so caught up in the busyness of life that we often overlook the power of those tiny moments of connections that bring life into sharper focus. They're the unexpected sparks that remind us how beautiful it is to exist alongside others. It's not always about the grand gestures or the long, deep conversations. Sometimes it's about letting yourself notice and appreciate the fleeting connections that life offers. A laugh shared with a stranger, a compliment exchanged, even just the silent acknowledgement of someone else's humanity. The truth is, these tiny moments aren't so tiny. They're the threads that weave together our sense of belonging, of being seen, of being part of something bigger than ourselves. And when we carry that awareness, it's like the whole world opens up. But here's the key. Here's what I want us to take away from this conversation. These tiny moments of connections, they start with us. When you move through the world with curiosity and warmth, when you're present enough to notice the details, you invite that same energy back into your life. It's hard to connect when we're hiding behind masks or defenses. True connection comes when you let yourself be seen, even if it feels a little scary. Vulnerability doesn't have to be dramatic. It can be as simple as saying, I really enjoyed that conversation, or you made my day brighter. Connection isn't something that just happens. You have to choose it. It's something we cultivate with small, consistent actions that show the people around us we're paying attention, that they matter. Take this idea that I'm trying out right now of romanticizing your life. It's not about adding candles and soft music, although whatever floats your boat. I'm talking more about seeing the beauty in what's already there, like smiling back at the lady who calls you darling because she sees something kind and familiar in you. It's savoring that first sip of coffee in the morning, the way the sunlight hits through the window. This openness isn't just for you, though, it radiates outward. When you start to live with this kind of presence and curiosity, you're creating space for deeper connections. And yes, that means love too. Whether it's romantic love or the love that shows up in friendships, family, or even the strangers that cross your path, it starts with those little sparks. But here's the truth: connection takes courage. It takes vulnerability to put yourself out there, to make the first move, to offer a compliment, or even just to meet someone's eye for an extra beat. And that vulnerability is magnetic. It's what turns a fleeting moment into a lasting bond. So here's the challenge: flirt with life, not in the romantic sense, but in the way, if you want to, right? It's cuffing season. But in the way that you engage with the world. Ask the questions, pay the compliments, and be bold enough to notice the magic in the everyday. Let the energy guide you, and you'll find that people, opportunities, and experiences begin to find their way to you. Because love, whether it's romantic, platonic, or just a moment of connection, isn't something you chase. It's something you invite. It's something you live. And in the end, it's not about what you take from these moments. It's about what you give: the care, the attention, the curiosity. That's the kind of energy that doesn't just attract connection, it creates it. So let's make this a practice, a way of being. Let's choose to approach life with curiosity, with grace, with openness. Let's be brave enough to offer a kind word, hold a gaze, or just a smile. When you move through the world with intention and love for the moments, for others, and for yourself, you align with the very best life has to offer. So today, live boldly, notice the sparks, and let them remind you that connection, in all its forms, is the most human and magical thing we have. Thank you for joining me today. If this resonated with you, take it with you into the world. Let's keep building lives full of connection, curiosity, and love, one moment at a time. Until next time, take care and keep flirting with life. This has been another episode of Renegade Femme for the Revolution. To continue the conversation, join us on Facebook and Instagram at Renegade Femme for the Revolution. You can connect with me, your host, at Zuleika Rendell on Instagram. Be sure to click follow on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or whatever platform you're listening on to be the first to know when the next episode is released.